Welcome to First National Bank's Coach's Corner with Tony Tone and Muscatine High School football coach Jake Mueller. Listen online at vintage931.com or on your smartphone with the free Vintage Sound app. Let's start the show.
Well, I would be remiss to not start First National Bank Coach's Corner with Muscat football coach Jake Mueller without asking him. And I already asked him off the air, but let's ask him on the air. Dinner or supper? Now, understand that you could be potentially offending some people out there.
Yeah.
You know where I stand. I'm a dinner guy.
Yeah.
Coach?
Well, I told you I'm a dinner guy.
Yes.
However, like the more I sit here, I'm not going to hedge from that, but I think of more of supper as like a time period and dinner as like a thing.
Nice.
So like dinner is the food and like supper is just like, it's supper time.
Yeah.
But let's eat dinner. So I think it more of a food versus a time period is how I've thought of it.
And it's so weird that people are saying that dinner is associated with like being fancy or something because, correct me if I'm wrong, but there were places that were called supper clubs, not dinner clubs.
Correct. Yeah.
And I feel like it would be a little expensive to go to a supper club back in the day.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a supper club.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah.
So the conversation at your house you'd be like, baby, what are we having for dinner? Right?
I don't know about
Or is your better half in this? This is something you got to ask the missus later today. This could be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it could be a whole thing.
I don't want to distract you from football, but this is a big deal, right?
It is to you, apparently.
Oh, man. Week 3 of Muscatine Muskie High School Football. It's going by quick. It's right?
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it goes once it starts coming.
So let's help people out. Last Friday, Iowa City West comes to Muscatine. It's a great game. You're up at the half. Things don't go the way in the second half. End up losing the game, but it doesn't technically affect the district record or going into the playoffs. It's a loss. You'd like to have won it, but when push comes to shove at the end of the season, the loss to Iowa City West won't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything towards our playoff contention.
Okay.
So only the 5 district games count towards your playoffs. So we could go 4-0 in our non-district or 0-4 in our non-district, and none of those games factor into whether or not we make the playoffs. So
perfect.
This week and next week are the last 2 non-district games, and then week 5 is when the district games start, and from there on out, all those games matter towards making the playoffs. So
and that it's go time at that point.
Yeah. I'd say it's go time now. I don't.
Well, I know.
Yeah, but you're right.
It's when it starts to matter the most. Some positives you took away from last Friday's game against Iowa City West.
Oh, there's a lot of positives. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of good things. Iowa City West is a very good football team who has a outstanding offense and a good defense, and we played toe to toe with them all game long. They made a few more plays at the end of the day to win the game than we did, and hats off to them for doing that. But all in all, I thought our kids played pretty well. We made some nice plays on offense here and there. We did a good job on defense. Generally did a good job of covering their good receivers. We gave up one big play, which was a big play, but overall we did a good job covering him, and a lot of good positives from the game. I thought some kids stood out and did some great things. Mm-hmm. I told the kids there are roughly 4 to 6 plays that if we make a play or do something a little bit better, we probably win the game.
Yeah.
But that's the game of football. That's competition, and that's why there's a winner and a loser.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that game gets over with on Friday. Monday is a holiday with Labor Day. Because I don't know, do you practice on Monday even though there's no school? Mm-hmm. And I think people listening find this interesting. I mean, that doesn't mean that there's a day off from football, right?
No.
And I think that's good because you talk about, athletes, student athletes, that have classes and a social life, but then they're also committed to these sports.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just assume, well, they didn't have school, they're not practicing. It's not the
You
case.
can't. Pleasant Valley, I'm sure, was practicing,
Yeah.
so we're going to practice. It's just part of when you're in high school and you commit to being an activity or athletic, like it's just part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
It goes both ways. It's a commitment from everybody in the program. Like there's coaches that are away from their families.
Yeah.
Their families go somewhere else. You have to stay, and we spend a lot more time on Monday than probably the kids even, because we met at 2:00.
Wow.
We left we left there around 8:30. So
Holy cow!
like it's a long day. It is what it is. We want to prepare and get our kids ready to go.
Jeez Louise, 6.5 hours on Labor Day. That's not even a Labor Day.
It's not.
I mean, I guess you might not have had to wake up as early, but still, that's a full day of football. And like Coach said, it is Pleasant Valley coming to town tomorrow to take on the Muskies. And we're going to take a very short break. We'll come back. We'll talk about PV, who comes into the game with a record of 1-1 on the season, and we'll get you ready for that, which again takes place tomorrow at MHS with live coverage on our sister station. It's First National Bank, Coach's Corner on Vintage Sound. Hang tight.
This summer is a perfect time to save money by refinancing your mortgage. Hear why Lori and Cliff Lampier chose to refinance their home with First National Bank.
We have lived here for 14 years and refinanced with First National Bank because of the interest rates, the people that we know at the bank. They're friendly, helpful, and it's pretty much effortless on our part.
When you're ready to refinance your home, see the new real estate team at First National Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to First National Bank's Coach's Corner on Vintage Sound 93.1.
Just like that, we're back with Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller. Muscatine Muskies 1-1, taking on Pleasant Valley tomorrow at Muscatine High School with live coverage on KWPC AM 860 FM 95.1. The voice of Muscatine, Brian Musell, Jim Miller, Pleasant Valley. It seems like teams like PV and Bettendorf, they always have good programs. PV's 1-1. You've been studying up on them, I'm sure. Their biggest threats, is it on offense? Is it defense? Are they well balanced? What are you looking at for the game tomorrow, Coach?
Well, they're good on both sides of the ball, but I think most people this year are going to point to their offense and what they bring to the table. They run an option offense. They run plays like veer and midline and speed option, and they've got their quarterback, fullback, and tailback. The three best skilled players are all back from last year, and all three of them are very talented. I think all three of them were on their 4x1 and 4x2 teams on track, and so just really a talented group of skilled athletes that they have. And you take that offense is tough enough to defend with regular guys running it, but then you throw athletes like those guys in it who do a tremendous job running it. It makes it a very tough task and tough challenge for our defense. As far as their defense, they're no slouch either.
Sure.
I think they only returned 3 starters from last year.
Whoa.
But they only gave up 19 points to City High, and I think they might have held Jefferson to 7. So, so far that they've done a really nice job on defense as well.
So this is going to kind of be a battle of good I mean, it might be a low-scoring affair. I mean, I hope not, but...
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, I like to score points, so I hope we can score. But you're right. Our defense is doing a good job, and I think we'll be up for a task. But it's going to be a challenge, no doubt. You have to tackle really good players in the open field, and you have to make sure that you're disciplined and you're doing your job. So much of the defense this week is predicated and so much different than it is in a normal week, and so it's to ask a high school kid in 4 days to change what you've been doing, it can be tough, but that's why, to me, that's what makes it fun. It is a challenge.
Yeah, and it's always different. So this is the first time that your defense will have to go up against an offense that runs the option.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of moving parts with the option, and it kind of will test the patience of linebackers, right? I mean, because you're already playing a high-intense sport, and now you're getting a look at an offense that you don't see all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it can, they can, I don't want to say they can fool you, but I mean, there's so many components with the option that you really have to just, like you said, for 4 days to learn how to defend this. It's tough, but you're banking on that these are intelligent athletes that you have that have experience. And they'll more than likely be able to handle it. And then it'll just make them better moving forward. Mm-hmm. Because I'm assuming that you'll probably have other opponents that run the option.
We may.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of anybody that runs them like PV does, but
sure.
There's a chance we could play Pleasant Valley again.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You never know. They've won their district the last 3 or 4 years, and it looks like they've got a very good chance to win it again. So, for us, it's going to be. I feel like our kids physically are up for the challenge. It's a matter of we've got to be disciplined in doing your job. It's real tempting to go follow the football. Well,
sure.
In the option offense, you can't do that. You have to tackle the guy that you're assigned to.
Yeah.
And you can do it on Tuesday and Wednesday, but can you do it? Coming out the second series in the third quarter after the game's been going for a while? Are you disciplined enough to do that? That's where, for a junior, senior in high school, that's where it can be a real difficult challenge.
And all they want to do is what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And show up and hope for the best. Pleasant Valley at Muscatine tomorrow under the lights. It's going to be good weather-wise. We have a chance for rain, but I think we'll be okay.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, I know you definitely don't want to get pushed or
I've heard
postponed.
Some reports that don't sound wonderful. So we've bbeen through a few of those thunderstorms, and I don't want to have to manage through that again. So
right,
we weren't supposed to yesterday. It was pretty bad out for a while. It looked like we weren't going to have practice, but we had a nice 2-hour window where. From 4 to 6, it was pretty nice out. So we were fortunate to have that. So hopefully we can have something like that happen on Friday, too.
Yeah, it's like, you got the job at the school and coaching, and you also have to be a meteorologist.
Amongst many other things.
There's a great picture, and this isn't related to the Muskies. Well, it is, so to speak. There's a great picture from this past weekend of yourself with Drake Kulik at the Iowa Hawkeye game. I think that picture is probably taken after the game. Mm-hmm. Hawkeyes successfully defeated Miami of Ohio. It's Iowa State on Saturday. Don't take offense to that umbrella. I got it for free. How great was it to see Drake this weekend?
It was awesome. It was really cool. Just knowing how much time, effort, hard work, and the ups and downs that he's been through to get to that point, it is really cool. Really, really happy for Drake, and I know he's not, he doesn't want that day to be like the highlight of his life by any means, but
sure.
it was pretty cool for him. I sat with his parents, and they're obviously extremely excited and happy for him too, and it was really cool to see a Muskie going out there. And, on the Jumbotron, they put his name up there, and he got to announce who he was and where he was from, and, see him walking out with the Swarm. And, along with playing fullback, he was on the kickoff team, kickoff return and punt team. So,
wow.
He got on the field quite a bit.
That's such a cool thing to be able, and he's on one of the souvenir cups I saw.
Oh, was he?
I mean, it's just like, there's a guy that you saw come through the program and continue to play, and not only play but love football. I mean, that's always nice, because sometimes you can get burnt out or you fall out of love with the game. But Drake, and I don't know him, but he seems like he genuinely loves football.
Yeah, he does. He always has, and more than even that, I think he loves challenges, and he loves to pursue the working hard and being with his teammates and being the best. And he wants to be the best person and ultimately lead his team to doing the very best he can. So I think he loves that just as much as he does the game.
Friday, Muskies. Saturday, Iowa State. Obviously, I know who you're pulling for in that one. Seems like it could be a good game. Iowa State always steps up when it comes to this game. They might not win a game the rest of the season, but they play Iowa well.
Yeah, they might win this one.
They have a new coach. We'll see what happens. Here's what I know. Muskie football against PV at home tomorrow. Both teams enter the game with a 1-1 record on the season. Next week, the Muskies are on the road at North Scott, and then the following week after that would be the first district game, and that is against whom?
It's at Bettendorf.
Oh, boy. All right. Good. This schedule, I tell you, who did we make mad? Wow. At Bettendorf to open up district play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a good challenge, that's for sure. Thanks for coming.
We'll be ready.
I know you will. Oh, yeah. This team is exciting to watch. I haven't seen them in person. I've listened to the games, and I definitely will be at try and get to the game tomorrow.
Unless it's raining. I'm sure you won't come then, huh?
Right. Well, I have a couple things to host tomorrow. Okay. But once I get done with bike night, that's what kind of happened last year. We went to several games, and it is going to be a good I think you're going to have a good run. And you know what? Going to Bettendorf, that's a great, hey, let's do it, right?
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Throw down that fancy stadium and give them a nice L on the scoreboard.
That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, it would be great. All right, Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller, First National Bank Coach's Corner in the books. Support Muskie football tomorrow against Pleasant Valley, and then next week on the road at North Scott. We're taking a break. It's 8:19 at Vintage Sound. Hang on.